Most of y'all that are subscribed to me probably wouldn't know this, but I am a massive fan of the DC CW shows that literally just recently finished with Superman and Lois. And I have had a very big love for those shows for the entirety of the time that they were coming out. And I actively watched shows like The Flash, Arrow, and Supergirl all the way to completion, at least multiple times, honestly. And one of the main things that I always had to say about these shows is that they missed so many opportunities in ships, in people that could have got together, and honestly, a lot of opportunities in just general. But one of the biggest opportunities that they missed was with Barry Allen and Supergirl. These two had, honestly, in my opinion, more chemistry than the entirety of anyone else in any of the shows. Maybe besides like Superman and Lois, who actively had a fairly nice relationship throughout their entire show. But these two alone had some of the highest amount of chemistry that I've ever seen in almost any show, and the fact that they didn't end up being endgame or ever getting together in general was honestly just such a letdown and just such a missed opportunity, especially when we started having situations like what we had with Iris going later on. And I am going to say this right now, a good portion of this video might just be me specifically hating on Iris West and hating on Mon-El for very obvious reasons. But besides all of that, I hope you guys do enjoy this video, and please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and make sure to hit that notification bell so you guys can't get caught up with the latest videos. And by the way, happy Christmas Eve. So, honestly, getting started into this specific video, I honestly have to talk about just the entire chemistry that we saw between these two from the get-go. The first time that these two characters were actively introduced to each other, when Barry was using the tachyon device to kind of just, super speed his way through and actively gain his speed to a higher level, and he just wasn't able to do it, and he kind of ends up going straight into Supergirl's universe. It automatically set just kind of a blueprint for these two characters and the kind of relationship that they could have possibly had. Just in that singular episode of them first meeting, they have so much one in common and so much that really is kind of connecting these two that it was honestly just such a very interesting episode to watch in the first place. They're both quirky, they're both extremely, lighthearted, fun, and they both honestly obviously have like a lot of trauma in the belt and just like their own personalities, but just the actual, quirkiness and clumsiness between both of them is honestly just so adorable between them. It is really hilarious that they didn't choose to make this more of a main statement in the show. Like, in all honesty, both of these two characters have had so much extreme chemistry that really was just insane in almost really any facet, because of the fact that their chemistry was honestly higher than the people that they were supposed to be having chemistry with in every season. But obviously, there are so many other reasons besides that why they would have made such a good couple and why they should have honestly ended up together. One of the first reasons obviously being, just their shared heroic values, because of the fact that, both Barry and Kara both share a deep sense of justice and responsibility. Their commitment to protecting the world makes them relatable to each other that most people can't understand or ever reach between them. Yes, we have someone like Mon-El, who eventually kind of grew into the role of being a hero and grew into actively wanting to help people, but it took Kara a while of trying to convince him that he should be doing stuff, and even a little more longer for him to actually fully get it down. And it took him literally going to the future to finally be recognized as one of the best heroes in history, years upon years after everything is basically already completed. And Mon-El's character alone is something that I didn't like, in all fairness, but that's going to be a conversation I'm going to speak about in a little later part of the video. But the real big thing between these two is the balance of compassion with courage that these two always had was just striving to do right. Like, even when it was difficult, these two were basically always in the best possible situation, just trying to help each other, and they balanced just their emotions so well with each other that just their relationship alone was nice enough that we honestly just loved them no matter what they did. Like, their playful chemistry, I'm going to talk about the first crossover again because it is honestly, one of the biggest sights and insights to the fact that they could have been such a powerful couple. And that is because of the fact that they had amazing chemistry. Like the lighthearted banter and honestly mutual admiration between them brought a very unique energy to their dynamic. Like the shared enthusiasm for their powers, the missions, and even the karaoke hinted at an unforced really big compatibility between these two. Like the entire time that they first honestly meet each other, it's just them both actively obviously getting to know each other, but they get on extremely fast and they get along with each other almost instantly. Like it's not even a big situation where they have like a little bit of awkwardness. It's like as soon as they start talking and they actually notice that they have very similar personalities, it's almost instantaneous on how fast that they're actively, getting along, just chatting it up, just talking to each other like it's just a normal day. And their relationship literally only grows from there. Like these two really just grow with each other very much faster and faster, and just really continuing on talking about other crossovers. One of the biggest crossovers that we actively need to talk about was the musical crossover. An episode where they're both, stuck in a musical, literally with each other, where they have to deal with having to go out and finish up the musical and finish up the story to the point that if they mess anything up, they die in that world, they die in real life. We just see even more of the chemistry between them because of the fact that they're both obviously musicians in real life and in the show. They both have amazing voices, and they both honestly have such a really big connection right there when you think about it, because of the fact that most of the songs that they were singing together were honestly bangers, first of all, but it just really showed and gave us more chemistry due to the fact that even though that they were supposed to be helping, trying to, deal with their significant others inside the musical, the chemistry between them was always the big major plot point between that specific episode in general. And really just talking about their other specific love interests that they were supposed to have. Obviously, Barry has had a couple, whether it's just Iris, Patty, Linda, or whoever else you really want to consider. Most of them, and some of them honestly, were amazing. I always love Patty, and I always love a good couple of the other interests. But when it comes to Iris, obviously, seasons 1, 2, 3, she's all right. She's fairly honestly good. But the later we get on with having Iris, the more everyone knows that we just kind of stop liking Iris very, very quickly due to the fact of, the words, "We are the Flash," and the entire kind of leadership roles that she starts taking, and the more of the big focus that they have on their relationship and all of the chaos that really just starts to ensue there. And we really just start to see that the chemistry that they had specifically in the first couple seasons is somewhat still there, but not as high as when we have someone between like just Kara and Barry just normally talking without really any emotions about it to it. Like these two's relationships and the arguments that they have, specifically with Barry and Iris, are usually so dumb and makes absolutely no sense that I honestly don't understand why they ended up together at times. Like just him talking about the situation when season 5, when they figure out Nora was working with Thawne and Barry has active, legit reasons, to be mad. And Iris is just like not caring about the fact that, Reverse Flash has quite literally done all of these things. And she's more mad about the fact that Barry doesn't trust Nora, their own daughter, because of the fact that she worked with the one person everyone would have known do not work with. The one person that has literally hurt Barry more than anyone. And Iris just does not care. That was one of the biggest breaking points for me in their relationship. And it really just signified the fact that these couple had literally just been going downhill for so long, and it really just continues going downhill further and further as the time goes along. And really going on to the other point with Supergirl and Mon-El, their relationship was honestly just irritating at best. Like, this was her main relationship throughout the entirety of the show, and one of the main big focus plots that we had, specifically during the seasons that Mon-El was available and actively in there. And obviously, they have a beautiful relationship in real life, but in the show, Mon-El was one of those characters that you really just cannot like. Obviously, he starts off being the Prince of Daxam, and we see him actively be this character that is more of a snobbish pig that is not really doing anything good for anybody. And yes, eventually he starts working on being a good person, but we even hear Kara say it herself that Mon-El was basically either just lying to her or gaslighting or just doing a lot of things wrong the entire relationship, never really giving it his entire full all. And by the time that he literally comes back, even though only been a couple months for her, it's been literally years for him. So the relationship is basically just dead in the water at that point, anyways. And that honestly was really one of the biggest hardships that I know she had to deal with, because of the fact that this was her true relationship, that she could finally, be with someone that understood both sides of her and she didn't have to lie to anyone, which is honestly another reason why I think Barry and her would be perfect together. They don't have to lie to each other, and they never have to, be keeping secrets, because of the fact that they both actually, can be heroes and they both understand the risks. Really just going back to Iris, because Iris is Iris and I don't really like her. That was one of the biggest irritations that almost every Flash fan or CW fan had with their character going forward. The more relevance that she started having just in the singular hero portion of their entire relationship. The fact that she started becoming basically the leader and acting like she had all this full right to be involved in Barry's hero life, even though she was basically usually kind of the main thing, really either holding him back or causing a lot more problems later on. And specifically, with her basically ending up leading the entirety of Team Flash, it usually just did not make sense in almost any fashion. But we just see the fact that these two really are usually the biggest problems, and the fact that they aren't heroes usually cause a lot more problems in their relationships than anything else. So the fact that Barry and Kara are both heroes really just gives us a better reasoning why they should have honestly ended up together. And obviously, just besides the obvious chemistry and entire relationship they could have easily had just in general. But just kind of continuing on and just not, rambling on for the next, 30, 40 minutes, because I very easily could if I was just talking about hating on Iris or Mon-El. But one of the other bigger reasons that they would honestly and should have been perfect for each other is the fact that they were able to support each other through all of this hardship that I could easily and have been talking about. Both have obviously faced enormous personal tragedies. Barry losing his mom and Kara losing her entire planet. Like, there are so many different things that they've had to both endure, and they both deeply understand the burden of being heroes while trying to hold on to their humanity. Like, they both have the ability to confront and encourage each other during the most difficult times, which really highlights how well they fit emotionally. We've literally seen Barry in the gutter. We've seen him all the way down, and just being able to talk to Kara or talk to at least some of the people that usually aren't even Iris is one of the biggest things that literally brings him back up. Like, we've seen Barry and Kara just talking in times where he's not in the best emotional mood, even like specifically when we're talking about one of the crossovers right after Barry had just done Flashpoint, and Kara is actively understanding. She helps Barry immediately, and there's not like an automatic amount of like angst and aggression towards them. They actually understand each other, and they don't react almost instantaneously to almost any specific little maneuver like it's the end of the world or the end of their entire friendship. They actually listen to each other. They emotion each other. Like, they like actively talk to each other irrationally. Like, just actually talk to each other rationally and with reason. They're not just out here getting mad about the slightest insignificant speck of detail or information. They're really trying to make sure that they understand what the other is talking about, and usually getting on even better afterwards. Like, they're never getting mad at each other for long periods of time like we've seen happen in both of their relationships, and we just really kind of get more of annoyed than anything else. And honestly, continuing on and trying to, finish up the video, I still got a couple of points that I want to talk about. It is one of the more interesting things that I kind of have been thinking about. Usually when we come to think about relationships, one of the first things is, oh yeah, opposites attract or something like that. But this isn't that. This is the light versus light dynamic. Unlike the opposites attract trope, Barry and Kara are both light. Like, they're both bright, optimistic heroes. Like, we see entirely during like the Crisis event when we're talking about what Paragons they are. And we know they both basically are just like the bright sides of everything. Like, literally, think about it. When we think about just the entirety of the Crisis on Infinite Earth's entire crossover, we see that Barry is the paragon of love and Kara is the paragon of hope. These two are basically just destined to be the light spots of their entire worlds, and they are the brightness that literally shows and shines to everyone else and gives everyone else the kind of hope and love that everyone should be experiencing. Yes, normally when you think about the symbol of peace or symbol of hope or whatever in the DC universe, people think of Superman. But in this specific CW world, it's not even Superman most of the time. It is Kara and Barry that really give us that kind of understanding of love and hope that truly, honestly makes us empathize with their characters even more. This is the reason why everyone loves their characters so much, because of the fact that we see how no matter what the situation is, no matter what's going on, their relationship honestly still testaments and shows and shines through the best and brightest, that their characters just become loved even more. And really just kind of continuing on, it's the trust and understanding that they have between each other that really shines even brighter than anything else. Like, I was literally just talking about it. Barry and Kara trust each other complicitly. Like, they trust each other completely, always willing to go the extra mile for each other's backs no matter what. And sorry, I accidentally said Barra, and that's only because of the fact that, shipping mind, just thinking about ship names, like, let that go. But their friendship has literally shown time and time again that they genuinely believe in and rely on one another almost through any situation. And especially after their universes all become combined, it's going to be easier for them to actively help each other in almost any situation and really just be there for each other through all the toughest times because of that singular fact. This relationship was founded on such a strong sense of trust and understanding that is literally unshakable. We've seen all of the tough times between them, and they always make it through better than almost anyone else in the Flash or Kara's entire relationship that they already have, besides, obviously like Kara and Alex, which are literally siblings. And we're not going to talk about the Iris situation because that's just way too complicated and way too annoying to be getting into right now. Like, we kind of literally have so many different things that we could really just think about. And obviously, the powers would be a nice thing to talk about because of the fact that they are very complementary to each other. Barry's speed and Kara's strength would be an absolutely unbeatable duo, and their teamwork in crossovers have proved that they could seamlessly combine their powers to face any threat. On like a metaphorical level, Barry literally represents time, Speed Force, obviously, while Kara represents hope. She is the House of El. We've already kind of discussed this. Together, they literally would symbolize the future of hope and optimism to everyone, brighter than any kind of other person and any kind of other thing that they could possibly think about. Like, there were really so many missed romantic opportunities between these two, or just in any CW shows, because of the fact that while their friendship was celebrated, it often felt like their romantic potential was just left completely unexplored. Bear and Kara just had way more natural chemistry than many of their respective love interests, which I've already discussed, and fans often rooted for them, to develop something a little more meaningful due to their palpable connection, especially due to the fact that we didn't feel that connection with any of the other people that they were dating, but we never really got that, and obviously we never can now, but it's really one of those things that we really wish and hope that we could have got together. Like, why did we think that they would work better than the canon pairings? Like, obviously, I kind of discussed this because of the fact that, Barry's relationship with Iris really felt forced at almost any point in time after, like, the first couple seasons. And Kara's relationship with Mon-El didn't always feel natural. Like, it never really felt natural. And really just thinking about it, Barry and Kara just brought out the best in each other without any unnecessary drama that literally left their canon pairings almost in dismay at any singular given opportunity. And obviously this is just a fan's perspective and me being able to get the overview of the entire kind of show, but Barry and Kara honestly just weren't friends. They were great friends and they had all the ingredients for an incredible romantic relationship, but it was just literally undeniable that their chemistry and their shared values really just complemented their abilities, and they should have been the ultimate Arrowverse power couple. So while the CW shows literally never went there, it's easy to say that for many fans, we really believe that Barry and Kara should have been more than friends. Let me know your opinions down in the comment section below, and let me know if you think I'm right. If you do, hit that like button. hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell, comment down something, let me know down in the comment section, and maybe check out the other videos that I be posting on the channel. But as I always say, peace, and for the holidays, Merry Christmas.